Get ready to take a big sigh of relief because I'm about to tell you why your fears are not your prophecy. Hello and welcome. I'm Taya. This is Hecate's Torch, your guide back to your own inner light. And today we're going to be talking a little bit about fear, and particularly what this looks like when we are talking about in the manifestation realm and the stigma, I think, around our fears. All right, so I got my notes. I've got my morning coffee, and we are at the lower level of my house today. A little uncomfy, but it's cute, so here we are. The first thing I want to touch on is what your fears are and what they are not. So your fears are not prophecy. They're not a prediction of the future. They're not your fate, and they are not something that is going to ruin your life. Oh, and they are also not concrete. What your fears are memories in your body, your experiences of the past, or stories and experiences that you've heard of others. Fears are entirely normal. They're entirely valid. They are something that our body remembers, our body and our mind remembers to keep us safe and to help us survive. Our fears are not something that we need to fight against, that we need to reject or persist through, okay? Because we hear that a lot. And I will tell you, I tried that, and I think for a lot of us, it doesn't work. And it could stall things for us because we get stuck in this loop of resist fear, I'm feeling good, oh no, I'm spiraling, okay, I'm good again, and then just repeat. And it's because we are not looking at the core and accepting the core of what our fears and our worries are trying to tell us. You'll hear a lot in the manifestation realm just to persist through your fears, to just push through them until you believe differently, or that you need to control your fear or else your fears will control your life and your manifestations. And I'm just here to debunk that now, okay? I have learned through experience and through introspection that is not true, and we don't need to push our fears away. Pushing them away is resistance. Resistance equals persistence. And I'm in an especially sensitive time of life right now after my story last November, which you may or may not have heard about. You can easily find that story if you go through my videos. I'm in a very sensitive time, and I'm very tuned in to what creates more anxiety in my body and what lessens it. And what I have found, what increases it, is beating myself up over having fears, over feeling like I should be doing better. And if that is you, I am here, like I said, to give you a big sigh of relief, because you do not need to reject your fears. The healthiest way to deal with our fears is to actually accept them. This is one of the easiest ways to melt our fears. And it's going to take a heck of a lot less effort, strain, and time than trying to push ourselves to believe differently. Because what's happening is our brain and body remembers these stories, and our brain and body's most important job is to keep us alive, to keep us surviving. And it's not going to let go of those fears that feel like a threat to your survival very easily, whether that's in relationships or security. Those are both things that our bodies hold on to very importantly, because as humans, community and food and all those resources are very important to life, to continuation of life. I think what the main misconception is that our fears can be mistaken as beliefs. But I will say, I think generally, for the majority of us, that our fears are not the concrete belief, that there's something else underneath that we can look at. And also generally, most people aren't believing their fears. They believe it could happen, but they are not 100% sure that that is what is going to happen. In some cases, that's not true. And but also for those people, just because you 100% believe something's going to happen doesn't mean that it is. Like we talk about, beliefs create our realities. But your fears are not the core of the belief. What's at the core of the belief is a belief about yourself. These kind of look like things like I am unsafe, I am unloved, I am not enough. And so we can develop certain fears around those beliefs, but that doesn't mean that that's the way that those fears are going to manifest into our life. If you take a look around at the people in your life, How many times have what they have been scared of, how many times has that manifested versus not manifested? This is what I do when I am having fears, is that I look around at other people who I know who have the same fears, and it has not happened for them, and it doesn't happen for them their whole lives. That is one way that we can release and relax and soften our fears, is to not give them so much strength and power. And speaking of belief, here's another little thing for you, is you can choose to believe whether or not your fears dictate your manifestations or not. We get told that our fears are going to ruin our manifestations, but what if we believe that our fears actually don't have a role in that? Because life is a game of beliefs, right? This whole thing is a projection of our beliefs, our consciousness. So what if we chose to believe that it's okay to have fears because that's part of the human experience, but to not believe that they are going to make or break our manifestations, our desires? That's another possibility. And I feel some of you taking a deep breath at that. I think I do. I think I feel it. I'm sensitive to energy and I feel that. Let me just take a deep breath with you. We can choose to believe that our fears are not going to affect our manifestations, because we can realize that our fears are just stories in our bodies that are keeping us alive. I want to actually give you guys a couple examples from my own personal life. I feel like this might be helpful for some of you. One of my fears that I have is around cars and car accidents. I didn't always have this fear. I used to drive 85 miles per hour on the highway. I was not always scared of cars. Okay? But I started to become afraid of cars when, my dad passed away when I was 13 in a motorcycle accident. And then when I was 20, my gram passed away in a car accident as well. I know multiple other stories of people around me who have passed away in car accidents. And I started, and it's still something I'm working with, still something that's on my mind every time I get into a car, is that I'm scared that I'm going to get in a horrible fatal car accident. And instead of choosing to believe that that means that that is my fate, that I'm going to get in a car accident because I believe it, or beat myself up that, oh, now since you believe and feel that way, that's what's going to happen to you. Instead of choosing that, I choose to recognize that my fears around that is actually from my past experiences, because I have seen that in life. And I tell myself that that's actually okay that I feel that way. It's okay that I'm scared of cars because of what has happened to my family and friends in the past. And it's a beautiful in-between of accepting your past, of giving yourself love to the reason why you are feeling fear, but also not allowing it to dictate your future and your whole life. I was going to give you guys another one, but I actually don't want to say that one right now because it's still really sensitive, and that one's hard for me to talk about. But I do feel like that one example, I think, kind of gives you a good idea of what I mean and how you can apply that to you in your life. Is to, when your fear does pop up, is to realize why and accept and understand why you are feeling that way. And then by past experiences, whatever you make that connection to, and then you can allow yourself to kind of have a deep breath around it, and to realize it's not going to dictate your whole life or your future, or it means that you're going to die or be unloved or get sick or whatever else, be alone forever. That fear is coming up from past experiences, okay? I want to give you guys a big hug. And I feel like this is going to be helpful for a lot of people who struggle with fears and with anxiety, and that it's perfectly normal that you are. It's perfectly healthy that you are part of the human experience. I want to offer that if any of you are feeling whether it's this overwhelming fear or stuck in a hard emotional place that you're struggling, I am offering one-on-ones now called The Shift, and this is to help you understand and accept yourself, to then allow those feelings to melt, and then you gradually, naturally, very simply experience your transformation after that. Appointments are an hour long, only $50, and only on Sundays, 10 a.m. to 5 p.m. Pacific time. So if that is something that you guys are seeking guidance for, I do have a very affordable, very timely offer for you guys, and something that I have been through a lot this last year, and finally feel very experienced and embodied and ready to help others move through this shift. If you enjoyed this video, if it helped you, please show it some love. Go ahead and subscribe for more spiritual, healing, growing, manifestation content. That's all the stuff that I do here, and I'll see you guys next time. All right, my legs hurt. I'm so ready to get off of this. Ow. Oh.